It's homecoming, and there's a lot on the line. Bowl eligibility on the line. Can Redline and Brent Brennan get it done?
Welcome to the AZ Wildcats podcast, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. I am Damon Fairall. That is Kevin Thomas. We are the AZ Wildcats pod, coming to you at PHNX HQ3 in downtown Phoenix. And Kevin, the Arizona Wildcats play the Kansas Jayhawks in just a mere matter of moments. We got 28 minutes to kick here, as to my calculations. And of course, before we get any further in this, I do just want to say we are sponsored by our friends over at Branded Bills. This pregame show is presented by our friends at Branded Bills, who have the ultimate custom premium headwear and apparel in the game, the best Arizona Wildcats campus collection that you could possibly find. So head on over to brandedbills.com, use promo code BBPHNX, and get 15% off your first order at brandedbills.com. But it is time to clinch a bowl game, as Basketball and Football Guy says here in the chat, and we are fired up to be talking about Arizona versus Kansas. Kevin, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good, feeling great. The basketball team is good. The football team has a chance to make a bowl game, and if a couple things broke their way, they'd be 7-1. Life is really good if you're an Arizona Wildcat fan right now, and this is a massive game for the Brent Brennan era here at Arizona. Can he use his first opportunity to go bowling this season and capture it, get that sixth victory against Kansas at home during homecoming? Very, very excited for this game because I think Arizona can get it done. And we're going to get into our score predictions, into the keys, into the availability report, and a whole lot more. But before we do that, Damon, should we fire some shots?
Let's do it, Kevin. I'll let you start this time because I believe, I guess I was in Colorado last time, but last time I was in person doing this pregame show with you, I believe you gave me the graciousness of going first. So I'll allow you the same courtesy.
Thank you, Damon Dog. And I will say, shout out to Connor Ivanov in the chat who brings up that Tommy Lloyd shout out. Dare I say that was the first shot fired of this game day when Tommy Lloyd came out last night said, get your ass to the football stadium tomorrow and support Brent Brennan because he's a good effing dude. And that is a quote from Tommy Lloyd. I will say, Damon, my shots fired with our friends over at Tequila from Three Amigos is honestly just going to go to Kansas because as a program...
Well, you're a Mizzou man.
As a program, that is very true. M-I-Z-Z-O-U. They got Texas A&M on the docket today. That's a tough one. But Kansas folds in any moment that matters right now this season. They had a late lead against Mizzou in that rivalry game in Columbia. Could not get a key stop in that game. Jalen Daniels threw a crushing interception at the end of that game. They had a chance versus Cincinnati. They blew that. They came out and did absolutely nothing to stop Kansas State in that rivalry game. So all they've done is convince me that they cannot get it done when all the chips are on the table. So this shot goes to the Arizona Wildcats and to defeating the hapless, choking dogs that are the Kansas Jayhawks. Salute.
Yeah, and just to add a couple more layers to this as well, Kevin, of course, grew up a Missouri fan, and we all know that Missouri versus Kansas is maybe the most hated rivalry in college athletics.
It's up there, man.
You could tell Kevin just deep-seated hatred for the Kansas Jayhawks.
That rivalry is nasty, but that Ramona's Reserve, Damon, can you please hold up the bottle? That Ramona's Reserve is absolutely beautiful. You see, we're putting in some work on that bottle.
We do have a dent in this guy.
It is a very nice.
I can tell by the type of shot Kevin poured me right here. It makes sense that a dent got put into
this. It's a going bowling shot, Damon. That's what it is, because we could be going bowling today. Who is your shot directed at?
You know, Kevin, I didn't have one prepared as I sat down in this seat today, and then it came to me like a revelation in the night.
Amen.
And it's simple. There's one person that this shot needs to be fired towards, and it is you, Lance Leopold.
Ooh.
And I believe, Kevin, that I can say whatever I want on this podcast.
I believe
there are
so.
no restrictions.
I don't think so.
Lance Leopold, you are a son of a bitch. You turned down Washington. The Kansas coach turned down Washington football off the back of a runner-up season. The Kansas Jayhawks coach turned down a job offer from the Washington Huskies. And we lost our coach because of it. Lance Leopold, screw you. This is our moment for bowl eligibility. We're back. We're going to shove your face in shit. And I hate you, you son of a gun.
Woo! I love it, Damon. I love that shots fired. Because you're right. Lance Leopold rejecting that job offer really did cost us, who knows, maybe 1, 2, or 3 multiple bowl appearances here in Arizona.
It might have cost us a college football playoff appearance last year, Kevin.
It genuinely might have, Damon. You never know what could have happened. But what we have is a game in front of us. And thank you to our friends over at Three Amigos for helping us out, throwing some shots at the Kansas Jayhawks. Make sure to check out our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila. They do great stuff over there.
That was a big shot, Kevin. And if I'll tell you what, if it wasn't Ramona's reserve, I don't know if I could have been able to handle that.
See, that's why I gave you the shot that I did, because I knew that you could handle the smooth, well-spiced sweetness of the Ramona's reserve. Should we get into our availability report for this game, Damon? Justin Spears put this out earlier from the Big 12. For Arizona, you have MGK out. Chris Hunter is out for this game. Jordan Brown and Adua Okunde. Then for KU, you got Jameer Moore, Carson Brune, Jason Strickland, Conley Hovey, Jaden Nickens, Donald Collier, and Saeed Gibbs. Anything standing out to you about this availability report, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Hunter being out, right? I think, from the Arizona standpoint of things, that definitely matters. He is, going into the season was being tasked with potentially being the number one receiver on this team. It hasn't really worked out in that way, but he still has shown flashes of being a pivotal piece. You think about the BYU game, and he has that, right, the end zone catch where he's doing the pose in the end zone. Like, Chris Hunter does seem to be one of this team's best deep threats in particular. So, yeah, tough to be missing him. But when it's all said and done, I think that this season has somewhat weeded out a little bit of who we think our top targets should be. Right now, Trey Spivey, every time he touches the ball, good things happen. Chris Hudson has been pretty damn consistent since he's come back from injury, in my opinion. And Luke Wysong has been very efficient in his touches. I think you're perfectly fine leaning on those 3 receivers in particular, spotting minutes here and there with the freshmen, the Brandon Phelpses, the Gio Richardsons, the Isaiah Mizels. But mostly, I think those 3 guys need to be your leading targets, leading receivers from pretty much every standpoint moving forward. And, of course, Nunu Watley as well as the gadget guy. But for me, I think that I'm leaning on those 3 guys. And even though Chris Hunter is out, I don't see it as the sky is falling, end of the world, doomsday type stuff.
I think that is well said, and we're definitely going to get to the receivers as well a little bit in my keys to the game here in a second, Damon. But I think Chris Hunter being out stands out the most to me from the availability report. Getting into the actual game that will be played today, Damon, I think we should now get to our keys to the game as we sit here 20 minutes from kickoff in Arizona versus Kansas with a chance to go bowling this year, Damon. Here are my keys to the game for this homecoming matchup. Number 1, stop the KU run game. They have some pretty good running backs over at Kansas, Damon. They have Highshaw and Williams. Sounds like a law firm. And you also have Jalen Daniels, who's able to put it on the ground as well. They do have a dangerous running attack. This is going to be something that challenges Arizona in this game. We've seen it all season long. The dynamic, versatile rushing attacks have given Arizona's defense some fits. Hopefully, Danny Gonzalez has made the proper adjustments, and that will not be a problem in this one. But I do expect KU to really try to challenge Arizona on the run game side of things in this one. Key number 2, put Kansas under game pressure. What do I mean by that? Please refer to our Shots Fired segment where I told you that every time KU gets in a moment that matters, they fold. Put them behind the 8 ball early. You will not have a problem keeping your foot on their neck. They are not a team that is built to play from behind in a game that they really need, and this is a game that they really need. Both teams sitting at 5 wins, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. A lot is on the line here, especially for KU and Lance Leopold here on the road. So put them under game pressure. make your lives a lot easier. And key number 3, can we all please gather around the candles, hold hands, and speak in tongues, trying to manifest some Trey Spivey touches? Because every time he touches the ball, he scores touchdowns. The man has 13 targets on the season, I believe, to 7 touchdowns, Damon. That's an unbelievable stat, and I think we need to feed the man more, as our favorite dinosaur, Indigenous Raptor, earlier in the chat said. So those are my 3 keys. Damon, what stood out to you?
Yeah, I definitely I like the Trey Spivey aspect of that. I think running the football, I'll take it a step further. Keep Jaden Daniels and his wheels at bay a little bit, because he hasn't been doing a lot of designed runs this year. It seems like it's been somewhat of a call from the top at Kansas to get him taking less hits because they can't win without him. Understandable. But he still does create a ton off of platform, Kevin, a ton of plays that are, off script, where he, it breaks down and he uses his running ability to escape the pocket and find a guy who's open downfield. That's when Jaden Daniels is at his best, is in those moments, in those times where the play breaks down, when he can let his athleticism shine. I think Arizona has to really try to contain him, keep him in the pocket, and force him to make throws all game long, because when he has been forced to make throws, he looks really good at certain points doing it, and then all of a sudden the wheels kind of fall off and he makes a really bad interception. He misses a wide open receiver, or he fumbles the football when he gets hit by a pass rusher because he has a bit of a fumbling problem. I think these are the kind of things you need to make Jaden Daniels do. Get him uncomfortable by keeping him in the pocket. Don't let him utilize his wheels and get in space. And Arizona's defense should be just fine. Getting into some matchup battles here, Kevin, because let's look at kind of the back and forth between both teams. I think Noah Fifita is a better quarterback than Jalen Daniels, not Jaden Daniels.
Yes,
although maybe.
Jalen.
Although maybe. But yes, I think Noah Fifita is a better quarterback than Jalen Daniels, but it's very close. Jalen Daniels on the season, I believe, is 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Noah Fifita is 21 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You look at the stats, they're very close, very neck and neck. I just think Noah Fifita is just a less turnover-prone quarterback. He's not fumbling the football like Jalen Daniels is. Both of them are not really throwing a ton of interceptions, but I just think Noah Fifita is more consistent. He's been slightly better this season, and he's been better in a little bit in the big games that he's had. To be fair, Kansas has had more big games than Arizona has, so that gives Jalen Daniels a little bit more opportunity to make those mistakes. But when Noah Fifita has played against BYU and he's played against Houston, good teams, he has shown out in those games, and so yeah, I like our quarterback slightly, but I do think it's about as neck and neck as you can get in this conference.
1,000%. We were talking about this pre-show that Jalen Daniels has had a really, really strong year. He has kind of been everything that he has been advertised to be for KU, I feel like, this season. But so has Noah Fifita been for Arizona, right, on our side of things. And it feels like these two quarterbacks have such a good relationship off the field because even they see the similarities in the way that they want to play football. And I think that is why this matchup is going to be so much fun from a quarterback perspective. It is very even. And we do have some super chats real quick before we get into the rest of our matchup battles here.
Trip them.
One $20 super chat from my mother. Thank you, June Thomas, for the $20 as well. And then AZ Cat Dan asking the question the people wants to know.
Yeah.
Where the hell is Deborah Owens? We need her Wildcat spirit. We just need the positivity in the chat from Deborah Owens that Deborah brings all the time.
We do. And as Max said, should we be worried? She never misses a show. Hopefully
True.
Deborah's on the post-game show and everything is A-okay.
Yes.
Celebrating a victory with the crew here. I'll tell you what. We'll give Deborah a pass for the pregame show. On the postgame show, that's when we start to really worry, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think Deborah would miss a postgame.
No.
I really don't.
No.
But, moving forward here into the matchup battles, I do think Arizona has the stronger run game here. Kansas has 2 solid running backs. They have a pretty even split, Kevin, so they definitely go like 2-man committee. Arizona, if you look at the stats, Ishmael Mahdi is for sure the leading guy. But we know Kedrick Reesano has been out for a good portion of this season. When Kedrick Reesano has been available, he's been very, very good for this team, as well as Quincy Craig in that kind of third down back role as well. So I think Arizona has a slight edge on the running back side of things because I think Kansas's running backs are just kind of like I think they're just a little bit. I think they're average to put it lightly, and I think that Ishmael Mahdi is an above average player in particular. You look at the yards per carry, Arizona running backs are averaging around the 6s, whereas you're looking at Kansas running backs in the 5s. So that could also be a product of O-line, but I think you got to give it to the run game for Arizona in this one.
I agree with you. I think Arizona has the more dynamic running game as well. Moving on to the pass catchers, we're giving this to Kansas. They have the more high-end pass-catching talent with Emmanuel Henderson. They also have a very strong tight end over there as well. Arizona has the depth and some of the versatility, but not necessarily the top-end talent that KU possesses. I mean, Emmanuel Henderson is an Alabama transfer for context, so it's just different levels in that sense, but not to say that this is by a large margin. It's pretty close, but we're giving the nod to Kansas because they have the higher top-end talent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, Arizona hasn't necessarily utilized its top-end talent properly this season to an extent.
Trace Spivey.
Yeah, Trace Spivey in particular. And I think that, maybe this looks different if Arizona had maybe focused on the right players a little bit more early in the season. But I also think it's fair to say that maybe Arizona didn't know what the right personnel was earlier in the season, and it's kind of been found out. Now there's no excuses, right? Time to feed Trace Spivey because this dude just breaks tackles and takes things for 60 yards every time he touches it feels like. So let's get Trace Spivey more of the football. I do think that we got to give the edge to Kansas on the pass catching side of things. They also have a very good tight end pass catcher, Kansas does, which is a huge advantage in the pass catching portion of this over Arizona on essentially every team that we play in the Big 12 because Tyler Powell's out, Kean Burnett transferred and is hurt. And Arizona is just a little bit more struggling on the tight end side of things. But to be fair, I feel like we see Sam Olsen has been steady, and Cameron Barmore continues to get better and better and be trusted more and more. Hit a couple big blocks against Colorado to my notice, Kevin. Like I think Cameron Barmore is showing that Arizona that he belongs on the football field as well. Moving into the offensive line, big advantage for Arizona in my opinion on this one. Kansas has a decent offensive line. Like most of their O-linemen are rated according to PFF lower than Arizona's offensive linemen at every position. And then you get to Calvin Clemens, Kevin. And then you get to Calvin Clemens. Calvin Clemens is a starting left tackle for Kansas. He has a season pass blocking grade of 21.5, which is really, really, really bad. Some notable moments in those matchups. At Missouri, he got a 10.1. West Virginia, he got a 16.9. Cincinnati, he got a 65.1. UCF, 68.3. Texas Tech, where have we seen this before? He got a 0.0 against Texas Tech, whose defensive line and pass rush does that to a lot of offensive linemen, seemingly. And then he got a 70.3 versus Kansas State and a 69.0 versus Oklahoma State, who's obviously terrible. Yeah. I think that goes to show that he has had some moments against better competition where he's been decent, where he's been serviceable, and he's also had about half the games where he's been a complete and utter liability on the football field. Can Arizona turn Calvin Clemens into a liability? I think that's going to be a big moment in this game.
I'm with you, and I think when we're talking about offensive line, it needs to be mentioned. The plaudits need to be given to Josh Oglesby and the boys in that big offensive line office that, as we know from stories, holds about a gajillion pounds of weight every day when they're doing film in there. The offensive line has steadily been improving week over week over week for Arizona. I remember in the first couple weeks of this season, one of our biggest complaints after every game was costly holding, costly offensive line penalties, and we were dumbfounded as to how this could be. There were so many new faces, though. You must be feeling that this is a team that's been getting more comfortable playing together, especially the offensive line. I mean, countless transfers in that unit, Damon, and it feels like they're fully comfortable playing next to one another finally, and you're finally reaping the benefits of it as they have become one of the, I think, more consistent units in the conference, quite frankly.
Yeah, they've been pretty damn good, and I think Josh Oglesby deserves a lot of credit, especially after how much flack he got last season, and rightfully so, because the O-line brought back guys like Josh Baker, Jonas Avenaya, Wendell Moy, and they were terrible, right? And it was with O-linemen that we know could produce a good offensive line around them. And so big changes were made. A lot of transfers were brought in, Kayana DeCambra, Tristan Bounds, Ty Buchanan, and these guys have performed admirably. I think that Josh Oglesby deserves credit, and Brent Brennan as well for how he rebuilt that offensive line in the offseason. But yeah, I think Arizona's offensive line, like even in the bad moments, you're right, Kevin, it was like penalties that were costly for the offense. Like they took points off the board, but it wasn't ever like stuff. It wasn't them getting dominated physically at the line of scrimmage. And and Noah Fifita running for his life. Like it seems like it's been like technique stuff. And honestly, as sad as it is to say, because I don't want to be that guy, but it's a lot of Rhino Tapa Auto Tie where it seems like his technique needs a lot of reforming and process to work on here. But as we move forward, I do think Arizona wins that O-line matchup on the line of scrimmage, but the defensive line matchup, the line of scrimmage on the other side of the ball, how does that go? I think Arizona's run defense is better than Kansas's run defense. I was listening or reading the great Arizona Desert Swarm articles that they do to preview every matchup with their affiliate, and the Kansas SB Nation affiliate guy was saying that they get gashed for big explosive runs a lot. Not that their run defense in particular is just like, terrible, but that they do allow explosives. And to me, Kevin, little Ishmael Mahdi, little talk to the hand, I'm feeling pretty good about our running back and his ability to break one and maybe do something explosive in this game.
I like that call out of you, Damon. I think that in terms of KU folding in big moments, a lot of that has been because they cannot get a key stop when it matters most. And a lot of that is because they can't stop the run, right? And so I do think this is a game where, especially a more physical back like Kedrick Reesano might be able to get loose up against a weaker KU front seven. And then we continue in our matchup battles to the pass rush.
Very even. I believe Kansas has 19 sacks on the season, 7 forced fumbles. Arizona has 17 sacks and 6 forced fumbles. So a pretty even across the board, maybe slight edge to Kansas in this one, but I do believe in Danny Gonzalez's ability to dial up blitzes, and even if Arizona doesn't have like the talent per se on the pass rushing side of things, I think that they have the coaching to make this a very even matchup in particular. Not much else needs to be said, I don't think, on that one. Let's get into the DBs, because this one is actually kind of important and very pivotal in this matchup. We all know Arizona's DBs are the best players on their defense. It's the heart and soul of the defense. It's why this pass defense is top 10 in the country right now, and the run defense has, in the losses, has been a larger part of the reason as to why things have gone awry, right? But you look at Kansas's DBs, Kevin, they don't have very good defensive backs.
No.
You add in that they have what's his name? Sorry, I forgot his name from the availability report. Their safety who's suspended for the first half of the game, Saeed Gibbs. Saeed Gibbs got a targeting penalty in the last game. He's a starting safety, a decent player, not going to be playing in the first half of this game. Apparently, Kansas's corners have been rough all season. They've been having a rough go all year. I think Arizona needs to take advantage of these DBs big time. I think if Arizona is going to win this game, it's going to be off the back of Noah Fifita and this offense really putting it on these defensive backs in particular.
1,000%. Noah Fifita, who is a man that is just 3 touchdowns away from the all-time record for career passing touchdowns at Arizona. I think this is a game where you could see some explosives from Arizona's offense, especially if they feed our boy Trey Spivey, because we know there's a man on that roster that can make plays, and his name is Trey Spivey, especially against a team that has weaker defensive backs than some of the teams that you have faced this year. I think this is a game where guys like Trey Spivey, Chris Hudson, Nunu Watley can really get some opportunities as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Special teams. This might be the biggest mismatch of the day. According to Kelly Ford rankings, when I looked up their special teams efficiency, Kansas is 3rd in the entire country in special teams efficiency, and Arizona is 126th out of 136 teams in the FBS. This might be the biggest matchup battle of the day from an Arizona standpoint of like what Arizona has to mitigate. Do not allow the special teams mistakes to shoot you in the foot, right? Like, do not allow, don't muff a punt, right? I didn't see Jeremiah Patterson on that report. He's not out for the season, is he?
I don't believe so.
Is he going to retake his role over Luke Weissong at punt returner? Because for me personally, like, this is a game where I'm like, I can't risk it. Luke Weissong, you are the punt returner, right? Hopefully Isaac Lovison continues to be solid, fine. Not what Michael Salgado Medina gave you in that first game. And then you got to make your routine field goals. Now, if you miss a 50-plus yarder, it is what it is. No one expects that necessarily. If it's 48, we'll even cut you a little bit of slack. But if it's from 45 and in, 40 and in, Kevin, we got to have those field goals. I think this special teams matchup is going to be important today.
It really is. It really is. And you mentioned the discrepancy. Has there been a bigger discrepancy between any two units, between any two teams all season? It feels like unless you have first and last, it's going to be hard to really
Maybe
have
Texas Tech versus some team's poor offensive line.
Yeah, like Arkansas Pine Bluff or something like that. But yeah, Damon, the special teams battle cannot bite you in the ass today. It has to be at least on par. It at least has to be average today. You cannot have the special teams mistakes against a team like Kansas that is very competitive yet still. They do fold in big moments. They do have some major critical flaws, but that does not mean that they can't catch you if you're not at your best. And as we move into coaching, we have it even here, Damon, as Brent Brennan looks to get his first bowl game in the Red Line era at Arizona.
Yeah, I think I was calling him Leopold earlier. I think it's Leipold, actually. But, as much as, I hate you, Lance Leipold, and screw you till the day I die, I do think he is a solid coach. There's a reason a team like Washington was interested in him.
Yeah.
And he's built up a good roster, especially from a Kansas standpoint, right? Like, Kansas has been a dumpster fire football program forever. And then Lance Leipold got in charge in Lawrence and turned things around, turned them into competitive, turned them into a team that you can't just write off a W against. And so I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. But also I'm going to give some credit to Brent Brennan. He won his first road game of the season last week. Second road game at Arizona was a pivotal moment. Both of these coordinators, I think, continue to get better and better, or maybe Danny Gonzalez doesn't get better and better because they started out so hot, so it's hard to get better from top 10, but he's drastically improved this defense from last year to this year. Seth Dagey gets better and better every week, it feels like. So yeah, I mean, I think the coaching is pretty even here. But we could be going in the postgame show saying, you know what, we got this one wrong, depending on how this game goes, right? Like maybe one coaching staff just completely outworks the other one and outthinks, outsmarts the other one here. So it's going to be an interesting battle. All in all, you look at these matchup battles, I think Arizona definitely has the edge, is the more talented team. But this is the type of game where you could still lose. Kansas is not a bad football team, and they do have to be taken seriously. So yeah, it's gonna be a very, very interesting matchup as we get just 2 minutes to kick off here, Kevin.
It's a massive game for not only Brent Brennan, not only Noah Fifita, who has a chance to set and smash a record today for Arizona football, but for all of us, because we might get to watch Arizona go bowling, and the vibes could not be higher. You see the foreshadowing on Damon's chest. The Culligan Holiday Bowl.
Need it.
Also,
take me back.
I will
take
say,
me to San Diego.
Damon, I think I just saw the most unbelievable catch I've seen in a while at the end of this Indiana-Penn State game. I'm talking to go up with less than 20 seconds left, and it's unbelievable. We must talk about it after the show. But there's a lot on the line
sure we will.
Today. Homecoming is here. We have all the alum in town. Even the great Noah Wolbrecht is at the tailgates, Damon.
Wow. Tommy Lloyd said, get your ass to the game. So, guys, I know kickoff's in a minute here, but if you haven't done yet, you could probably still catch 3 quarters. Get your ass to the game.
Yes. Do it. Check out Game Time. Get the best deals on tickets and seats as well. Check out your Ramona's Reserve from our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila as well, Damon. Oh, wait. Before we get out of here.
We got some score
predictions.
brother.
We got score predictions. I'm calling a game that will feel like a rout.
Love it.
Even though it's not a rout by score. 41-24. I think Arizona's offense puts it on Kansas. I think Noah Fifita becomes the all-time leader in passing touchdowns for Arizona today. And I think they get it done at home. But I also think that Jalen Daniels and KU's run game is good enough to get them some points on the board. Whether it's early, whether it's late. I think Arizona gets it done by a large margin today.
Love it. I think our scores look pretty similar here, honestly. I think Arizona's offense is going to be somewhat unstoppable for Kansas's defense. I don't believe in Kansas's defense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have to eat some crow here in the post-game show, which, of course, will be live about 10, 15 minutes after the game is over. But I just think that this Arizona offense is going to be too much for Kansas. I do think Jalen Daniels is a good enough quarterback to put some points on the board, but I don't think that these guys can stop Noah Fifita. I believe in Noah Fifita. I believe in my guy, and I believe in a big Wildcats W today. That's Kevin and my predictions.
Let's go.
What are your guys' predictions? Drop them in the chat as soon as this stream is over. Helps us out so much. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We will be back for a post-game show, Arizona versus Kansas, hopefully celebrating some going bowling. Arizona versus Kansas live right now. We'll see you on the post-game show. Until next time, I'm at Damon Dog. He's at Kevo Post. We're at PHNX_Wildcats. and we'll catch you on the postgame show. Until then, peace out. Bear down.
And go Cats. Let's go bowling!
We all silly like the mayor.